Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a call to action in this video, something you don't normally find in mine, but this is important. Headline's not a joke. A few minutes of your time can potentially save 500,000 lives or more. This is what went down. The NDAA, the Defense Department budget, it has, the House version has an amendment called the Conner-Gates Amendment. The Senate version does not have a similar provision. They voted on it, and it had a majority of the votes, but not enough to pass. So the two versions are different. It has to go into conference. The Senate Armed Services Committee and the House Armed Services Committee will decide whether or not it stays in there. We need to make sure it does. What the amendment does is it forces President Trump to go back to Congress to get authorization to attack Iran. I know, if you're a student of the Constitution, you're going, well, he's kind of supposed to do that anyway, right? He is, but over the years, so much power has been ceded to the executive branch that if he can tie it in a way to make it seem like previous authorizations for use of force apply, he may not need to. He can make that decision unilaterally without Congress. Now, this amendment will prohibit him from doing that. So we need to get on the phone. We need to email, write, tweet, whatever, to those people on the Armed Services Committees, paying particular attention to the Senate. They had a majority of the votes in both houses, but not enough to pass in the Senate. This, if they want to reflect a representative democracy, it should stay in. This amendment is important. Okay, if you are a resistor, this is your time to resist. If you are a Republican, Conner-Gates Amendment. That Gates, yeah, your guy. This is widely supported by Republicans as well. It's a good amendment. It needs to stay in there. If you're anti-war, it should be obvious. You want this in there. If you're a veteran, we don't need another 22 a day. A war with Iran would be very similar in intensity to the war with Iraq. Maybe even more fierce. And 500,000 people, that was the toll. That's how many people lost their lives in that conflict. If Trump has to go back to Congress before launching a strike, that's going to force him to come up with a good reason. Now, I will give it to Trump. He has done a good job and shown a proper amount of restraint as far as using military force, but he is still ratcheting up tensions. And his positions do change frequently. So it's not a position I feel comfortable that he's going to continue to hold. He may decide tomorrow that it's time to attack Iran. We need to keep this amendment in there. The Conner-Gates Amendment. This is your time. 5 minutes of your time can save 500,000 people's lives. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.